Hey, so this is the explanation video for the demo I was talking about. This is going to be another unscripted thing. I might skim through it, but yeah, I'm just going to give a general rundown. Um, Also, title is still not revealed yet. That'll be at a later date. So yeah, again, in this demo we have two players. This is like initial setup map, so we have the initial treasure board card, but because it is the starting tile, it has a box token placed on it. There is not a treasure token placed on the initial tile. So yeah, all four outgoing paths are there. So yeah, the turn starts. Sorry, the game starts with. Um, Sorry, yeah, the game starts with three action. Oh, sorry, I'm just gonna undo that. So each player has three action cards. In this demo, they are not using action cards or at least the like actual action card effect. They are just discarding cards to use any of the four basic actions. Those are um, move, snatch, carve, and restore. I'll go for those when they come up. So yeah. And yeah, I will go first. So let's continue. Okay, cool. So on the initial move, R is discarding a card to take the move action to go upwards relative to the treasure board card. So in doing so, a check happens whenever players move from an area to another first, if they can even go there. So if there is a path piece originating from the tile you're on, pointing to another area, it checks if there's another board card or tile there, right? If there is not a board card on here, um, then you will need to like draw a board card from the board card deck, rotate it however you wish, and then place it, and then placement rules happen. There are instances where there might already be a tile here. If the tile is face up, you don't do anything and you just move onto the space. But if it is not face up, you can flip it up and rotate it however you wish. But in this scenario, we're not dealing with face down board cards. We're just dealing with if it's there or it's not there. And in this case, it's not there. So we're going to draw a board card. Um, and yeah, So yeah, because there's another board card at the other side of the path piece, a new board card must be placed. So that is specifically drawn from the board card deck and placed. In this scenario, our red wanted the two outgoing arrows that are going to get placed in a second to go back to the home base and to another area right here. Okay, cool. And yeah, so these pieces are placed. With that being said, now if a player is on this tile, they can now go back to the home tile because there is a arrow path piece pointing toward that area. Whereas if, let's say, this path piece was not here, they would not be able to return because there is not a path piece where the base is connected to the tile the player is currently standing on and points to a area where like they want to go. Um, So yeah, that was one action. I'm just gonna skim forward a bit because they basically do the same thing again. So they discard their second. Um, yeah, sorry, they discard their second action card. To use the move action once more. They're moving to the left. They draw a board card. It gets placed. Arrows get placed after the fact. Um, because there is a separate order of events, how these things work. I'll describe it once it comes up. But the way it works, I'll describe it now actually. Um, Board cards get played first. Following that is the placement of path pieces, and after the fact are any on place effects for the board card. So again, second move is there, and they're going to choose to go upward, and this is a scenario where this matters. So um, again, they're going up. This is going to be their third action, so they no longer have any more action cards to discard. But as mentioned previously, path pieces are going to get placed first. Then the actual treasure token is going to get placed onto the field, well, onto the map. Ba, ba, ba. And once all on place effects are resolved, a player can finally move their place. Uh, a player can finally move their piece onto the tile. With that being said, that is the end of their red's turn. On this tile, there is a treasure token and a player piece. From what I recall, green is just gonna use 3 actions to go all the way back and chase. Um, yeah. So nothing new really happens. It's just they're following, but because there were already tiles where the player was going to go, again, just by looking at the paths, because there was already a tile here when they went from the treasure board card and the original tile to go upwards, and then since they tried to go left, but there was already a tile there, nothing new needed to be played. It was just they were chasing. Um, I think here, yeah. So now we get to talk about the second basic action in the game. This is the snatch action. So you can discard a action card at any time to use the snatch action to either take gold or take unreturned treasure token um, from another player. You can also use the snatch action to pick up any loose like treasure tokens on the tile you're currently on. So as a run back, the treasure token was on the tile, but because red decided to use the snatch action to pick up the tile, well, because red used the snatch action to pick up the treasure token, um, yeah, red now has the treasure token until it gets returned. So that's the first of the 3 cards they have. They're going to discard twice to move here. Um, Green sees this and they're like, what the Sigma? No. I'm gonna say I'm going to cut that, but like, I'm not going to because I'm gonna forget to cut it later. But yeah, they're gonna use the first 2 moves to go to red. Oh, that's too far. And they're going to use their third action to. They're going to discard a third action card to snatch it back, right? Um, so that happens. That is their third action. That is end step. I'm gonna talk about end step in a second. But now it is red's turn. So first they're gonna use the snatch action by discarding one of the 3 cards to take it back. Next, we are going to see the. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah, okay, cool. This is the third action of the game. Third basic action, mind you. So carve lets you cut a path in between, cut a path diagonally outwards, to another tile. So again, they want to get off their tail. Red wants to keep a hold of the treasure token. Sorry, I made this demo last night, and it was like 1 or 2 in the morning, and I realized how dumb this move is. Um, but for the sake, but for the sake of demos, I understand why I did it, but a better option would have just been for red to just snatch on the first action and then move back to their second. Um, that is not what happened. But red is going to use the carve action as their second action to. Well, they want to use the carve action as their second action to create a diagonal outgoing path piece to this area right here. Next, they can choose to take the move action to go onto this like path piece, and because there is no tile right here, we are going to enter tile placement rules. So yeah. Um, so yeah, again, the initial they have 3 action cards. Red discards the first one to snatch the treasure token back from the green player. They use their second action to cut a piece, oh sorry, to carve a path downward diagonally to the right. And then they're using their third move action to Yeah, to go to this area right here. Because they placed a downward right path piece to the tile. I just realized I misspelled that. Okay, anyways, continuing. Yeah, so placement rules happen. It's just one arrow piece, and they're gonna choose to place it to the right because that's how they set up the tile. So yeah. Cool. Um, this is actually important here. I noted here. Cool. Um, as I mentioned previously, the way this game works is that there is a upkeep phase. Um, that's gonna be talked in depth later. Then there's a main phase where players can basically use cards in their hand or use relevant board effect actions to their disposal. Um, and then in the end step, this is why these diagonal paths are important in the long term, because they aren't. At the end step, there is a clear up step, there's a cleanup step on each player's end step. And part of that cleanup step is you discard, sorry, not discard, you remove any diagonal path pieces relative to tiles. So in this scenario, this is a diagonal path piece. So that's just gonna go, right? Therefore, it is not a path this green player can take. Okay. Um, However, that doesn't mean you can't place diagonal path pieces. So at the start of G's green's turn, um, they're like, no, I'm gonna chase you. So they're gonna use their first action to place another path piece diagonally downward. Um, and they're gonna chase, and they're gonna use their second action card to discard again, to chase red, and also to use their third action to snatch the treasure token back. Okay. Finally, again, we run to the cleanup step again. Any diagonal paths get removed at the end of a player's turn on the end step phase in particular. So those go away. Finally, we're going back to red. They're going to first discard a card to carve a path to the center board card. Next, they're going to use the snatch action to to take the treasure token back from green. Now red is in possession of the token. And finally, they're using their third action to return the treasure token back to the box token. Um, Returning a treasure token to a box token is considered a entering the board effect. Entering the board effects, from what I recall, cannot be interrupted. Um, because you're entering an area. So again, the moment red finally steps back foot into the box token area, because they have at least one treasure token, in this case just being one, they can return any and all treasure tokens that they have to the box. Um, in doing so, that'll permanently let them have a treasure like token. This cannot be taken. This cannot be this cannot be taken by any method at the time being. So I should clarify. Once a player has a treasure that has been returned to the box, it cannot be snatched. There might be other game actions that let you take a returned treasure, but they are not yet implemented. With that being said, that'll basically give player red the like equivalent of 1 star in Mario Party. By doing so, it gets removed off of the map. And yeah, basically red now has that piece. Um, because I should probably go back a second. So that is the third action of red's turn. Green is undoubtedly pissed because they're like, I spent all my time chasing you and you just return it right now. So they're gonna be really petty. Which is where we finally reveal the fourth base action, which is restore. Restore is the opposite of carve, in the sense where carve lets you create paths, whereas restore lets you remove any path pieces currently on the map. So even though this player green is right here, they can remove this one, this one, this one, because those are connected to its current tile. But again, we mean any path piece. So they can also remove path pieces up here. They can remove path pieces up here, or like right here. So green is just going to use um, all three of their actions to remove outgoing path pieces connected to the center board card. Um, Let it be a reminder that you can't remove this center board card, nor can you move the box token. This is meant to be a permanent tile. Oh no, my display hard crashed yet again. Ba 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 ba. Cool. Okay. I forgot where I was. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So again, for the fourth action, the fourth basic action is going to be restore. You can remove any path piece on the board. So green is going to be like, yeah, actually, I don't want you to go anywhere where I'm not. So they're going to remove like through these outgoing path pieces. Um, Restore is good in the sense that it can cause players to use up an extra turn to go somewhere they might want to go or force them to alter their course. Um, and that's what I really mean by like I want a game that like the board is heavily modifiable. Um, because at least in the basic actions, I believe I'm creating that system where it's like, yeah, this board gets wonky because players can create paths orthogonally, diagonally. Other players can remove path pieces, so the map is ever changing. Um, Therefore, making most, if not all, no, I think all basic actions are incredibly useful. Snatch is going to get more of a use once gold and shops get properly implemented. But yeah. With that being said, yeah, so you can use the carve action to create paths. Um, please remove this path, please. Thank you. Um, so that is green's turn. Red can choose to discard a card to use the carve action to create a path here, 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 or even diagonally. But the main idea is that the idea of the restore action is that it will slow down players from anywhere on the map, or or like force them to change what they were doing. So yeah, that is a more explained like run through of the demo that you guys saw for like 40 seconds in the background. So yeah, I hope you guys liked the video. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. If you like this sort of content, please make sure to like and subscribe. It really means a lot. And I'm always down to run these explanation videos about how systems work. Because, woo, I love my systems. Anyways, though, have a good time and see you all around.